Testing. I have to try and imagine I'm talking to like you as opposed to camera because I find it quite hard. Okay, loosen up. Hey guys, Gondor Primulon, actually. Hey friends, welcome back to the tubes. I've missed you. If you're new here, my name's Savannah. If you're not, what's up, homie? I'm doing a 30 for 30 list. So you know how normally you see people do 30 things that they would like to do before they turn 30? I'm doing 30 things that I would like to do throughout the year I turn 30 to effectively just celebrate my 30s. I'm really excited for all the things I'm going to be able to continue to do throughout the rest of my life. So anyway, one of those things is being more comfortable in my sexual self, and I'm going to be doing a lingerie shoot, and I'm also going to be speaking to some sexual health nurses. I basically asked you guys on my Instagram story if you guys have any questions surrounding sex, and you sent loads in. So today we are at SH24, which is effectively like a sexual health clinic, and we're meeting with some nurses, and we're going to ask them all the questions that you sent in, or as many as we have time for, which is not that many. Let's go. Maybe we're not doing this today. Hello. Let's talk about sex, baby. This is where we're going to be filming today. We're done. We're done. I got two sexy health nurses with me here today, and we're going to run through some of the questions that you guys sent in. I don't know if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Helen. I'm a sexual health nurse. I've been a sexual health nurse since about 2018, and I currently work for SH24, which is an online testing and contraception service that runs throughout the whole of UK and Ireland.
Hello, I'm Shauna. I'm also a sexual health nurse. Also work for SH24, and we run Fettle as well. I used to be living in London. I'm now based back in Ireland. So yeah, I'll try and.
We made a flyover here just for this.
Driving over.
I obviously told you guys on my Instagram story that I wanted to open up the conversation a little bit more around sex, and you guys sent in a load of questions, so I'm going to get through them today with two professionals, and we're also going to sprinkle in a little bit of my own experience, and I hope that it can be useful for some of you. And guys, if I come up with any bullshit, just be like, Savannah, that is medically incorrect and just unhealthy in every way, shape and form. But I have a load of questions, and actually I thought we could start with some of the more like fun ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, which I thought was really interesting, and it's actually something that a partner has put on me before. Can you overuse a vibrator to the point that you find it hard to finish with a man? As a nurse, what is your medical thoughts on that? What is your
As a nurse? You can probably get, I mean, we don't really cover this in terms of the field of sexual health, but as someone who you know, obviously we know about body parts, you could probably overuse one to the point where like you can overstimulate the kind of area, but I don't think there's ever like, you can't use it too much, but maybe have a little break. Maybe
you're not gonna break it, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Your body might become used to sort of certain vibrations, certain movements, certain pressures.
You might enjoy it.
And then you can't like replicate that with like a human partner.
Okay.
So it might be good just to sort of like, if you feel like you're heading down that road, like give yourself a little break.
Yeah.
Maybe have like a week off, see how your body feels after that.
Or change up your sex toys.
Yeah, or just get your partner to use the vibrator instead of their body part.
Bring the partner into it.
Well, I tend to find that I prefer the lower vibrations anyway. So like I find the higher ones pretty aggressive, and if you're just using the lower ones to a minimum, then you're not going to break anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you're not going to break anything.
Are we talking about breaking the vibrator or breaking your body
breaking
part?
my clitoris. No,
like
Good
listen,
hitters.
you can give birth to like a human baby out of your
Exactly,
vagina.
right?
So it's like nothing's going to break, but you could just possibly desensitize it if you are literally using it like 5 to 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So I think it's just
more
about like listening to your body. Yeah.
Okay, but I personally have found that the more I've been able to come myself, the more I've been able to come in sex. And obviously, like, well, not obviously, like some people prefer to go manually when they're at home by themselves. But like I do like to use a toy, and I found that I've been able to come far more often with my partner.
Because this is the thing, like when people have trouble reaching orgasm, especially women, the advice you read all the time is get to know your own body, make yourself come, like find out what you like to orgasm by yourself without a partner. So like what you're saying completely rings true, because it's like the more you know your body and you're comfortable with it, the more you can then do that with a partner.
Yeah, and tell your partner what you like then.
Yeah.
Like how are you gonna know otherwise? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So would you agree then that like the overusing a vibrator, you'd have to actually use it significantly?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it would have to be pretty extreme.
and
And,
who has
like-
time for that? Like you've probably all got jobs, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's probably pretty impossible to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's like as long as you're not like injuring yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like walking around physically hurting, I think it'll be fine.
Fine, because I feel like an ex-partner has told me that, but it's been more to scare me from using the toy as much as I would like. Because when in past relationships, when I've not been getting sex to the extent that I would like, I've obviously reverted back to a toy or going manually,
Yeah.
and then they've used that as a means of
So this is just an
not
example of
allowing me to
mansplaining.
masturbate. Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Right. Okay. So yeah,
There shouldn't be shaming. No,
For sure.
no partner should shame another for like.
I feel like that's so normal, right? I feel like
I
that's
know
happening all the
it's
time.
terrible.
I love this one. I want more sex after coming. Is that normal? So this has come from a woman.
Okay. I mean, yeah, if
Why
it's,
not?
that's not abnormal.
Yeah.
I think everyone's different. Some people might need at least a few hours break. They might be I think you can become oversensitive, so you don't want anyone coming anywhere near you.
Yeah.
Other people, maybe they just get the horn and want to go again. It
Yeah.
really depends how old she is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, you might not have the energy.
I'm guessing if she's like young, that's why. Yeah.
Fair.
The older you get, the probably less that happens. But
Yeah.
Good for her. I mean, just
Fair
embrace
play.
it. Yeah.
And it's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Have you heard of post-nut clarity, right? Which is
Yeah.
when like the man just like rolls over and
Yeah.
has had enough, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like for me personally, I was speaking to some of my friends about it recently. We tend to want to go like, well, me and my friends have noticed we want to go again, or
Yeah.
we just
That's-
have more, like we just have a higher sex drive generally, and they're just done. They just roll over. They're done. They're
Yeah.
finished with you. Is there anything biological?
Yeah,
about
I think
that?
it is. I think I've read something. I mean, this is obviously not. Don't take my absolute word for it, but I think it's more normal for men just to like come once done, whereas
Yeah.
women, I think in nature, like you want to have sex as much as possible
Yeah.
because the goal is, obviously biologically, is to try and conceive.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that for these reasons. Well, not everyone, like in modern days. So I think there is possibly a kind of
Something like that as well.
a biological
Yeah.
thing behind that. But then if you're not like that, it doesn't matter.
And also, I do feel like coming seems to. Obviously, I don't have a penis, but it seems to take a lot out of a man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're just
Like,
empty.
Yeah,
When they're done.
yeah, they're
Like,
solely.
No,
Yeah.
nothing left in them.
Yeah. Have you noticed they get angry afterwards? It's like they're just done and then they're annoyed. Oh no, that's any problem. Actually, this isn't one of the questions.
Do you want to talk about that?
No, I do have therapy. This isn't on here. This is just something I was wondering. When you use a toy by yourself, would you tend to make yourself come more than once?
Depends. Totally depends on the situation, the mindset, the time of the month.
Yeah.
But if you're like in the zone, you're at home, like you've moisturised, you're like having a meat evening,
Right.
Would you just keep going? Because I've gone and gone
No.
by myself. And then,
No.
Really?
I think I'm like, done now.
Done.
Sleep.
Yeah.
I like hit a PB the other day.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to take a leaf out of your
Yeah.
Over a hand, like I just kept. I had like
Nice.
3 hours by myself, and I was like, "What else am I going to
Fair play.
So she wants more sex after coming. That is normal. That is very normal in some cases.
And
But
embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace it. And if your partner, obviously, talk to your partner. Is your partner? Do they understand that? Are they happy to then oblige? If they've also come and they're a man who can't usually do that afterwards, like can they use their fingers or their mouth to help you?
Yeah.
Can you just help yourself? A bit of DIY. Do you need your partner involved?
And also, the partner mightn't even know. The partner mightn't even know that they want like more.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I find
communication.
that often the question we get is, I mean, if you're talking about this, it's the partners, they've had sex, the partners come, but they haven't, so they just like want more and more because they
Yeah.
haven't come.
Yeah.
And then that's about communication of like, okay, what can your partner do to then please you? But in this situation, they have come. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's great. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's a
happy days.
winner.
Yeah.
They just can then
Congratulations,
go again.
everyone.
Yeah. Especially me, over a hand.
So this person was just bragging, like they're bragging.
No, I'm the person.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah, no.
Damn it. What's your secret?
Everyone's going to be so proud of me. This is interesting. The pill drops my libido, but I've been on it for 13 years and I don't want any hormonal changes. I'm not sure what the question there is, but I suppose that...
We get this all the time, don't we? And I've actually had it before.
Have you?
Yeah. I was on the combined pill for like years and I had changed to the progesterone only pill. And when I was on that, like,
Really?
sex drive, who is she? Like,
Yeah.
non existent. And I actually was a bit nervous, alright, because I think there's this thing about like, oh, if you change hormones, like worse things could happen and stuff. Stopping that pill was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Okay.
A few weeks, it all went back to normal, and like, you know, that's clearly an issue for that person.
Yeah.
They've lost their sex drive, they want it back, so that should be, I think, like
A priority.
yeah, priority to get that back
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
change their pill.
And
it's
also,
okay to change
yeah, it
contraception.
depends what pill she's on, because there are so many, especially if the combined pill works for her, it's healthy, there's no sort of health risks associated.
Yeah.
There are so many different types of combinations she could try out, and some are really good if you have like acne. Some are good if you feel like you've got like, if you feel like you have bloating on one pill, you can get another one that helps.
Trial and
Sex
error,
drive, like mood, so that you can tweak the pill, and you could find one that works better.
Yeah.
The problem with trial and error, though, is sometimes I feel like whenever I've been to the doctor hasn't necessarily respected the fact that I don't feel like I have 6 to 8 months to
Yeah.
try a new pill. Like, I
Yeah.
want to be in a good mood to get on with work and get on with my
yeah.
relationship. And sometimes it does offend me a little bit when a
Yeah.
doctor's like, just trial something new. And you're like, this is my life. This isn't
Yeah.
a trial.
Yeah, it's so true.
But
It's so true.
I guess you have no
weigh-
choice.
Weigh it up like that, you know.
Yeah.
This person's lost their sex drive.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a big deal. That's important.
yeah.
It's something to look into.
so
Yeah.
I think she should definitely consider, you know, trying a different contraceptive, different pill, a different type of the pill that she's on.
Would you expect the coil to impact sex drive as well?
Not as much,
No.
is it?
No, I
But
don't think
know-
there's any evidence.
I know one thing, it's not so much like impacting sex drive, but I've had a few kind of patients in the past being like, oh, I'm nervous that my partner can feel my threads and things like that. And I think because of that, then they were having less sex. But like, we've felt these threads, they're very-
When you out of the body, the coil threads feel like quite wiry, but
Yeah.
once they've been in the body for 48 hours,
soft and
they soften up in body temperature.
Yeah.
So they feel really soft. And
Yeah.
also the hormonal coil, because obviously you've got the copper coil, which has no hormones,
Yep.
and the hormonal coil, which does release localized hormones. The hormonal coil can cause vaginal dryness, so it doesn't necessarily affect your libido, but you could feel like you could be drier than you would
Okay.
if you weren't on it. But then you've got lube.
Which so many people are
So-
scared to use though.
I know people are really
Use
funny
it
about
as well.
lube.
Yeah.
People think that using lube equals that they don't get wet, they've got
Yeah.
no sex drive, that it's
Yeah.
like really unsexy. It's like,
It's so
use
fun,
it.
yeah.
It's great. It enhances.
For sure.
It enhances. Everyone should have some lube in their bedside
They
table.
should.
Anything to improve the experience, right? Some of them taste
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Some just
yeah.
taste good. If you need a snack, like
Yeah.
so you guys are suggesting that, like, well, I have had partners tell me that they can feel my coil.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. I think is it a bad thing? Like, does it put them off?
They just said like, oh, I think I felt that there, but
Yeah.
and they thought the implication meant that they were huge.
Yeah, like exactly.
They're
Like,
deluded.
giant penis. Yeah. Oh my god, I felt your coil.
We're really happy.
But no, that wasn't. Like, it's like not up there. But yeah, you're really not there.
Yeah, that's normal. If a guy ever had a problem with feeling someone's coil, unless it was actually injuring him or hurting him, that it's great that they should be happy that this person's literally got a device in their uterus
Yeah.
that's stopping
Yeah.
them getting pregnant. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a plus.
And if
you know.
you're saying it hurts you, we know you're lying.
Yeah, it can.
Or
It depends,
like
on how, it depends how the
hanging
threads are cut.
Really?
Yeah, so if the threads are cut too short, it can like maybe be a bit spiky or something.
Fine.
So they might have to go back to clinic and get that reviewed.
Okay.
But yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually the length there, they're just gonna move to the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I got my coil done, I really also didn't like how the nurse was like. She was like, "Have you had kids?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, this might hurt." No, she was like, "This is gonna hurt," and I was like, "Could have gone down like a nicer route of telling me that."
That's
it's
well,
quite
yeah,
scary.
yeah. Well, I got a coil and I
Yeah.
had really bad experience getting it, but I probably don't want to put people off because obviously coils are great,
Yeah.
contraception's great.
The
but
coil is so good.
yeah, it's amazing.
Should we talk about some of the benefits of that actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me personally, I don't know. Obviously, from a medical perspective, and I don't know what your guys' experience have been, but like my cramps, I did get cramps. Like, well, some
What do you
people
have? Do you have the hormonal coil?
Yes. No one told me the cramps that I would get for the first few weeks. I did have cramps for like the first 3 weeks
Yeah.
that were quite severe. But following that, I barely bleed. I barely
Nice.
have cramps.
Yeah.
Like sex is so much more fun because I'm not worrying about contraception. And for me,
Yeah.
that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
everything is in my hands, and I'm so chuffed with that.
Yeah, I think the coil is a really great method. It's a really great option for lots of people. Like you said, most people their period stop. A lot of people are really worried about periods stopping on contraception, but actually it's not a bad thing.
No, it's great.
It's okay not to bleed if you're on contraception. You don't need a monthly period.
You don't need.
No, so we get a lot of people like, oh, I don't like my coil, or I don't like my progesterone pill because I'm not bleeding on it. I haven't had a period for a year, and I find that I don't like that. And it's like, that's fine. That's a normal side effect.
Yeah,
okay.
Just celebrate the fact that you don't have a period every month.
Like,
You don't have
it's
to buy
great.
sanitary products.
Save
You're not
money, yeah.
bleeding. Yeah. So that's really good that you don't mind not having a period, because that is a normal healthy side
Yeah.
effect.
I love it.
It is like obviously an invasive procedure. It does require, you probably need like to take a day off work. I don't know about you, but afterwards,
I had to take a day.
yeah. And then like you said, like the cramping is really bad for the first few weeks. For some people, they wouldn't have cramping,
They
but other
don't get
people it's
it.
awful. But it's like you've literally put something in your womb,
Yeah.
and it's like that whole area does not like, our cervixes do not like being
Like
touched.
needles
Our
alone.
uteruses don't like being
Yeah.
touched. It's like it's quite an invasive thing to do, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. Like the long term
Absolutely.
goals
Sure.
are worth it for the short term.
Yeah.
And I actually think a lot of the discomfort was mental, because I didn't feel like I could have that grace at work. I couldn't take a couple of days to work from home. I didn't really feel like I could talk about the fact that I'd had it done. I felt like it was this big taboo. Where actually, it didn't feel worse than like a cold per se. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're not comparable,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't pain. It was just discomfort that I didn't
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
I could communicate that with anyone. So
Yeah.
if people knew about it and I was given that grace at work, I don't think that I would have found it as uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been
Yeah.
on your mind as much, kind
Because
of.
you can't message your boss and be like, I'm getting the coil in. Can I work from home
And,
this week?
and also, why
Well, you
not?
could. The
You
thing
know
is,
what I
you
mean?
should be able to.
Yeah.
And actually, working in our field, we probably could.
Yeah,
You could
we
say, I'm
definitely
actually going to
would.
get the coil, so
Yeah.
later's like I'm going to take the afternoon off. But why can't you? It's like you should be able to say,
Yeah.
I'm taking some personal time
Yeah.
because I'm having a
It's
procedure.
a medical appointment,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just period stuff. Women just don't get given that
No,
space.
no,
so-
exactly.
It is terrible.
But it's mental.
But
Yeah.
definitely, we should be encouraging people to, like, if you're going for a procedure like that, tell your boss.
Take that time. Yeah,
Like, take
it's
the time.
invasive, of course. Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Some people mightn't even need the time. Some people
Yeah,
might. And
exactly.
Just listen to your body.
for sure.
Yeah, if anything, if I can give any tips for coil, pain relief,
Yep.
lots of fluids. Make sure you've had a meal before you get it done.
Eat beforehand.
Yeah, because all the people who have fainted or
Yeah.
sick are like the
Yeah.
ones who haven't had breakfast or even had like a glass of water. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we've got a fainter.
Yeah. All the time.
My nurse did give me a lolly, to be fair, so I appreciate it.
Yes. Bit of sugar.
A well done lolly, yeah. Ooh. How can I work towards penetrative sex with vaginismus? There were so many questions on vaginismus, so we just kept this
Yeah.
one in.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Um,
I mean, I think anytime I've ever came across any patient who had vaginismus, they felt very like alone, didn't they?
Yes.
And like as if, you know, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I'm the only one who's going through this. You're not alone.
No,
There's
yeah.
actually loads of people who experience it.
we had loads of questions about it, and within my
Yeah.
friendship group, a few still have it. It's something
Yeah.
that I have experienced when I was like 22. So like it's quite common within my own friendship group. So I can't imagine how many women are going through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of women they've never had a diagnosis. So vaginismus is a condition that means you get pain, often severe, upon penetration. So it's really difficult to have penetrative sex. Often it's literally the act of either putting a penis in the vagina or a tampon, or if you
Yeah.
have to have a speculum examination.
Anything. Yeah.
Your vagina, like the walls of your vagina, will literally clamp up and cause severe pain. Once it's past the almost like the entrance point, it's okay, but obviously to get something
It's
in
just,
at the beginning is hard. But it's actually it's not it's a psychological condition. So a lot of it stems from if you've had past trauma, even stemming back from like if you're a child. If you do have vaginismus, it can be quite hard to diagnose, but often you will be or should be referred to something called a psychosexual therapist. And this is usually a senior consultant or doctor sort of attached to a sexual health clinic, or you have people running private practices.
Yeah.
And they will sort of get to the root cause of why this is happening. There'll be a lot of therapy, there'll be counselling, but they can also help you sort of cure it physically.
Yeah, using like dilators and like things like that as well.
Yeah.
They like train you how to like, you know, use them and things. So for a lot of people, it's two things, isn't it? It's firstly about like dealing with like what's going on in your head,
there.
mental thing,
Yeah.
and secondly dealing with the physical thing. So they'll do both, and they might like give like a dilator set and things where, you know, they can start like very small and then kind of build it up to try and get used to, you know, something actually penetrating them. But yeah, reach out for help.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like talk to someone about it.
Communicate with your partner again. We always talk about communication.
Yeah.
It's not abnormal. Like,
No,
you're not
not
weird.
at all,
What was the question again? What were they actually saying?
How do I lead up to penetrative sex?
Yeah, just slowly. And I think the first thing for this is obviously, I'm not a psychosexual health expert at all, but I've talked to a lot of patients with this, and you know, read a lot of studies, read a lot of sort of accounts. Take penetrative sex off the table to begin with. So just have everything else with your partner, touching, kissing, you know, caressing, like anything but penetrative sex, just take it off the table so there's no pressure. A lot of people find that actually that's better sex anyway. You don't actually need penetrative sex to have an orgasm. And then once you're really comfortable doing that, your partner knows how you work in that respect, then you can start building up to penetrative sex in a slow way. Talk to a professional as well, I think.
And sometimes the anxiety of knowing that you're going to experience pain will actually just make it worse.
Make it worse, exactly.
Yeah.
And it will, and I think a good piece of advice as well is that, like, it doesn't last a lifetime. It can be
for
cured,
sure,
it can get better. But like you said, you had it in your early 20s and now you're fine. So I think I know people who've had it when they were younger. So I think if someone is experiencing it, just know that, like, you can get better and it can pass.
When I was at university, I was in my second year. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life at the time, and I remember trying to have sex with this person, couldn't realise how painful it was, went to the doctors, and they gave me, like, it was a set of like 5 little things to effectively put inside me.
Yeah,
and
the
they were like,
dilators.
and they were like different sizes.
Yeah.
But from that point, it would then be 3 years later that I would finally feel comfortable to have sex, and I do think that is very long. And like, I didn't think to speak, because I couldn't necessarily speak to my family or my friends. I was too nervous to. I wouldn't have known to speak to someone about the mental aspect of it.
So you only got like half of the kind of support that you needed.
But then by that point, by the time I was also able to speak to someone about it and feel comfortable enough to have sex, I was just more confident in myself, and and I was at a point where, like, I was very ready for sex when I started to have sex again. So, like, I also don't feel like I missed out on that time, and I wasn't in a rush to have penetrative sex.
Absolutely.
And so that whilst that was a long time, I don't feel like it was too long. Like, I feel like I needed that time.
Because you're like getting comfortable in your skin, you're learning about yourself. I think that's the best way to be.
And I think people forget, like, how much life we have left to live. Like, I've more than made up for it since then. Exactly. I'm good. Like,
sex doesn't stop at 25.
Exactly. Like, it begins.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So I don't feel like I lost that time at all. 100%.
I think, aren't women in their sexual prime at, like, between their 30s and 40s?
Yeah,
apparently that's what I'm saying anyway. Or even 40 plus.
Love that.
Yeah.
But then
I think they're changing. Like, times are changing.
Women are just starting to wake up to what they can, they can feel. But then what's so scary is also the amount of women in my DMs and within my family and within my friendship group that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that have never been able to orgasm.
Yeah.
It is a big issue, I think, isn't it?
I think that it's difficult. Everyone's different. I think there are some people in their life that they might never achieve it, but if you can't orgasm, again, that's a psychosexual therapist domain.
Okay.
And you can get psychosexual therapy on the NHS. There might be a massive long wait.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so great to know, though.
Get on the wait list.
You can pay for it privately.
Okay.
Obviously, if you have the means to do that, that's great. But you can get a referral to psychosexual therapist. It could be a 6-month wait.
Okay.
Because there's usually one per sexual health clinic.
Or longer.
Yeah.
Okay. But you guys would say, is there like an average age that, because I think this is, again, a massive pressure on people. They think that there's an age they would expect to have been able to orgasm. And we can talk about my experience in a second, or like yours as well. But, like, is there from a nurse's perspective?
There's not, like...
No?
I think it's like what's happening mentally, what kind of sex you're having with your partner.
How comfortable you are in your own skin and with your partner.
Yeah, how you feel about your own body. So a lot of young women are really paranoid with how they look, like basically how their vulvas look. They think they're abnormal. They think everyone has to have like a porn star vagina. As a sexual health nurse, I have seen many vaginas. Professionally.
There's no such thing as a perfect.
There isn't. Like, everyone, it's so much more normal to have, like, you know, people talk about innies and outies, or like you can look like a shell or look like a flower, which is nice. Yeah, it's like I'd never seen a porn star vagina, I don't think, in my whole time as a sexual health nurse.
And it shouldn't be something we're embarrassed with. It should be something to be celebrated.
Celebrate,
it's like individual, like
absolutely celebrate.
We don't want to be the same as everyone else.
Yes,
and no one is the same. So.
Exactly, and I think, and I've as a nurse, you have patients come in and you're doing a speculum exam, and it's a huge thing for them to like basically get on a couch and open their legs and have a stranger look at their genitals. But they're always, I've had like young girls be like, do I look normal down there? Do I look okay? And it's like, you look absolutely fine. Like that I promise you look completely normal, you look healthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with how you look. But they've got all this shame and stigma attached to how they look, which then affects their sex life, which then stops them from having an orgasm.
Yeah.
Sometimes that shame isn't from them as well. I've had, unfortunately, have had young people with vaginas and penises actually who a partner has shamed them for something, told them, oh, your flaps are too big or your penis is too small, and like that gets in their head, and that can just hold them back then.
A lot of my audience, a lot of the shame comes from their families and their religions and not feeling like they are allowed to enjoy sex.
Yeah.
And we can get onto this in a minute, but like the amount of women that struggle to have sex and orgasm because they feel so much shame around wanting to enjoy it is crazy. But when it came to, so I lost my virginity at 17, and then I wasn't able to come for the first time until I was 25. And I enjoyed, like, I love sex and I really enjoy the act of it, and like I've always been a sexual person, but the first time that I came, it was so interesting because I'm not sure if this is going to be TMI or not, but my partner he wasn't really into that evening, and I really wanted to have sex, so like he was just a little bit more chilled about it. Like, so I kept my t-shirt on that evening, and I got on top, which is coincidentally the only way that I'm able to come, and wearing the t-shirt, so I wasn't overthinking about the way my body looked. I was then, and combined with the position, I was then able to come, and it was such like an aha moment for me of like, oh, I've been focused on the way my body looks, and like for him for so long.
Just in your own head, so so much pressure on yourself, and it's like the performance, you're thinking about the performance rather than like, do you think men are thinking about the performance? I mean, maybe a little bit, but they're just thinking about like, what
are they doing?
The end goal.
And
like obviously like,
they dreaming about the ending.
I think it's all about feeling relaxed and feeling comfortable. Some people can have a one night stand and have like 5 orgasms that night, and talking about people with vaginas, like women who, I've got friends who can just have sex with anyone and they will come straight away, whereas other people, it might take being with a partner for like a good few months to get really comfortable and get used to the way you have sex before you can come, and that's fine.
Sure. And that's fine too.
And just say to them, it takes me a while to come, like like, no offense to you, you're doing a really good job, but like personally for me, like I don't think anyone should fake it. No. Because then,
I mean, I've been known to, like,
like we've all done it just to like get it out of the way, you know.
It can be quite obvious.
It just doesn't help. It doesn't help the situation if you're faking it because they think they're great, and it's like, no, like nothing's actually happening.
And you don't want to have to fake it either. You want to actually be able to enjoy it.
You don't realise how much you shoot yourself in the foot when you fake it though, because then they think that's what you like, and they just keep doing that thing, and you're just like, damn it, and that's just your sex life. Like, I don't like it when you choke me that hard, damn it. It only works in porn. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. My long-term partner, I've been struggling to make her come, and I feel really bad about it. So I realised that it came from his perspective as well. And I imagine he might be putting a little bit of pressure on her as well. If it's something that because I mean, we've all been in sexual relationships, and they'll be like, "Please come for me," and you're like,
straight away, it's like, "Well, now you put me off."
Yeah, no, I can't. Like,
now you can't
work like that.
Or he's could be putting pressure on himself and getting in his head, and maybe not getting as hard as, like, it can happen that way as well. It's not just all
definitely
the woman getting in their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It can happen for guys as well.
I think the thing is that, like, women seem to think that men are the expert on sex, but realistically, the majority of them have learnt from porn.
Exactly.
And
so true.
Whenever I look back, exactly, and it's stupid, but like whenever I look back at my previous relationships, and I've asked, so for my ex, for example, I used to drive over to see him, and we'd have sex, and I would never come, and it was fine. It was still enjoyable for me, but I don't know what made me do it, but one day I was like, can I ask why you keep doing that? Why we keep having sex like that? And he was like, and I was like, have you had a lot of sexual partners? He was like, I've had 2. So I was like, why do you think that works for my body? And he was like, porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many men are like that? So you think that men are experienced?
So
They're
true.
not
Yeah.
always experienced. Like, they've learned that from someone, and like
Yeah.
women are all so different. So like,
Yeah.
I think we need to walk into scenarios being a little bit more confident and being like, actually, like, you need to slow down. You need to figure out what
guide
works
them.
for me.
Guide
And
them,
also
give them
they
tips,
appreciate
positive
that.
reinforcement.
Exactly.
Because it means
Yeah.
that going forward,
Exactly.
they'll
Yeah.
actually be able to perform better as well.
Precisely. I think walk into those scenarios assuming that they don't actually know that much, and like teach them
Yes.
about your body, because it is your
Absolutely.
responsibility to learn how you come.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to learn what works for your body.
Yeah, definitely.
And the same as well in like same-sex couples, like what works for you mightn't work for the other person, even though you might have the same genitals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it's about communication.
I think, yeah, and like you said, when you had that conversation with that partner, I don't know if you were like in bed at the time or still naked, or were you just like having a cup of tea in the kitchen?
Just afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, but I think staging the conversation in the right way, where it's like not awkward.
Yeah.
Again, like you're not accusing them of anything. It's like an open question. There's no pressure. Just like kind of talking about like what you like,
Yeah.
you know, what you don't like.
Yes, explain the reason you're bringing it up
Yeah.
to like enhance the experience for both of you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's not about shaming anyone or
But that
Making
only
it
really
look
comes if you
bad.
talk about it away from the bedroom, and I think that's something that
Yeah.
my current partner and I do really well. We actually talk about sex a lot at like dinner at restaurants.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
get excited about it, but also
Yeah.
it's not in an environment where either of us would feel
Exactly.
and not just
Intimidated.
after
Yeah, and you can have a
sex.
debrief.
Never-
Yeah.
Never
sex.
after
Yeah.
sex,
Pre-sex
because-
debrief,
Yeah.
and then like positive reinforcement. So if they do something you like, you'd be like, "Oh, I
That's
really liked
really
it when
nice.
you did that.
Yeah.
That was really good." Like,
Yeah.
always give them a little thumbs
Yeah.
up. know.
We really like to watch. I don't know if you guys have seen. Is Bellesa? It's like a female-owned and produced porn company, porn
yeah,
site.
I think I've heard of
And it's
that.
really good because it's more from the woman's perspective. It's more like the sounds and the sensations that we prefer. It's still porn.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
there's like still some things in there that are like slightly active, but they put women, like same-sex couples, like hetero couples, whatever, into. They put them in a bedroom and then they let them interact normally through sex.
Nice.
So it's not
Nice.
not too forced.
Yeah.
Obviously they're aware they're on camera, but like it's
Yeah.
not too
It's
like
more natural.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually really like it.
Yeah.
Like me and my partner like to leave that on. Like just
You don't
Just
get
watch
to
it
see
together.
that kind of.
no, you actually get to see the conversations that they have together as well, which is really
Nice.
interesting. Yeah.
Rather
It's
than
really
just
nice. Yeah.
some random going at it like a jackhammer.
Literally.
And
Yeah.
that's what men think that women want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can just go.
Yeah, we don't want that. Or maybe we do, but
Yeah. There's a time and a place.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Start slow.
Nuanced.
Please.
There's a time and a place, you know.
Gotta build up to it.
Do you guys get, obviously you get to see a lot of vaginas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get many women coming to you with concerns or wanting cosmetic vagina surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what we touched on before about women getting, they're just like really paranoid of how they look. It's usually young women who
Yeah.
haven't, I think when you're maybe 16, 17, 18, you've just got like your new adult body, you're not really used to how you look. You think you're ashamed of how you look. The older you get, the more comfortable you get in your skin. And like some women, like as a nurse, like in a clinic, it's always like the young girls who are like, oh, I think I want surgery, I want labiaplasty. It's like, wait till you're 30, you won't want
Yeah.
it anymore. But it's like you need someone who celebrates it and says you're perfect. Like, I really like the way you look. And like the more you have that over the years, the more you feel comfortable. And it's awful that it's like
yeah.
you can't validate yourself, it's up to someone else. But if you are worried about how you look, by the time you're in your mid-30s and someone's told you look great multiple times, you're like, okay, fine, I don't really care about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's like,
It is mostly young. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are right.
But like if you have which you don't know when you're younger, but like normalize having a partner that like complements your body. Like, I think
absolutely.
growing up, you think that they're just supposed to not notice and just like skim past these things.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
my biggest turn on is someone thinking I'm the hottest thing in the world. Like if you
yeah.
keep telling me and you
Absolutely.
keep commenting on my
Yeah.
body, then I'm gonna
Yes.
be so
You're
turned on.
gonna
by it.
actually.
You didn't know that
confident.
growing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to walk around thinking you're the hottest thing
Exactly.
in the world, even if
Yeah.
you look like absolute shit. But
Exactly.
they think you are. Exactly. And then
You
it
wanna
really
feel
annoys
that.
me on like TV shows, you see references to like, oh, she looks like she's got a steak sandwich or like a kebab or something like that. And you see there's like a TV show where people get naked. I'm not gonna say.
They just show the genitals.
And they always choose people who have like perfect looking vaginas.
Yeah.
And then even the host will be like, oh, she's got some outer labour. What do you think of that? And it's like,
It's like, come on.
yeah, and then if they're like showing it on
no
Gogglebox,
hope for the
someone on
rest of
Gogglebox
us.
for like the TV show
know.
where people watch TV would be like, oh god, oh it looks like and it's like no, like imagine if
No,
it being a
it's not.
14-year-old and they're watching. I almost
know.
want to write in and be like, you need to stop
Yeah.
making this okay.
Like normal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because Also, did you ever get, you know, when you were like a teenager, were you given a book like about like growing up
Yeah.
and like
How
puberty
babies
and
are
stuff?
made.
Like the pictures of like vulvas and like stuff in that are like
The most, yeah.
Yeah.
they're
It's
like
not
Nothing like
realistic.
real bodies.
yeah, they don't look like that at all, like ever.
Yeah.
And that's like the first probably time that you'll ever see what you're meant to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it creates an
So no
unattainable
wonder
image.
people have
Yeah, so
an
many
unrealistic
hang-ups.
image in their head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to answer that question, do people ask about vaginal surgery?
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
Something
Do they
like
go
that.
ahead with it mostly?
No, I mean, who's got what, $5,000?
Yeah, I know.
Full-
to
yeah.
do that. And also they should be discouraged by their doctors as well.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a pro cyclist and you're like literally doing like Olympic cycling, and you can get issues like
Yeah,
down there
yeah.
if you're cycling a lot or on bikes. But yeah, you don't need it. And it can
also,
stop your pleasure as well,
you
like
can
the
lose
nerve
sensation,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
lose sensation, and it can, because you can cut off like nerve endings, it can cause problems. It's like, celebrate what you got down there, girls. Come on.
exactly.
Do you not also
Yeah.
think as well when you think back to your previous partners, like I personally have enjoyed things about them that aren't considered normal. Like
Yeah.
I've enjoyed individualities about their body, like
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
make them special to me
Yeah.
that only I get to see. Like if they looked like everyone else, I don't think I'd have been as attracted
Yeah.
to them.
Exactly, and it's not fair
No,
that like, would you ever shame
different.
a man for like his foreskin or like what his
No.
foreskin looked like, or if he had one or not, or
Never,
anything like that?
So why do we go through
Yeah,
this?
I know.
and then or like having like low hanging balls or whatever. Like you're just like, you just take them for how they are.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot more sort of shame attached to how women look, which is a shame.
Plus my experience is that they don't notice anyway. Like
No.
they just want to get in.
They're
like,
so
yeah.
happy. They're so excited.
Yes.
They're so happy to be next
Like-
to a vagina. They're just like,
Yeah, they're so grateful.
Yeah.
Like, my father keeps
Exactly.
telling me actually, he's always like, you don't know how lucky women are. Like every time you go to a bar, like it's so hard for like us to approach a woman, but like you just like women
yeah,
tell us
we're
so
just
much easier. I'm like,
hanging out with ourselves all the time.
yeah, literally, yeah. Me and my whole, we're so lucky. I'd really love for you guys to discuss sex anxiety struggles or feeling comfortable in the moment. I've had sex anxiety until really recently. I think like I've only just felt comfortable in the last few months,
Yeah.
like actually being naked, being confident in the fact that I should be allowed to enjoy sex.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's coming from like a body perspective or just like a guilt of wanting to enjoy it.
I think as a woman, I think at one point or another, we're all gonna go through that we're not confident in our bodies. We don't like how we look, so we certainly think that our partner won't like how we look.
Yeah.
And it will hold us back.
Yeah.
Like I've certainly went through that in the past as well.
Yeah, I think it's like where you are at your stage of life. It's also, again, it's not putting it all down on the partner, but it's how your partner makes you feel. Like you just said, you know, you like someone who makes you feel amazing. So if you're with the right person, they should make you feel amazing. They shouldn't make you feel anxious how they look. If they do, you shouldn't be with this person. You should
Yeah,
have
it's not
like,
right.
Yeah, that should be a huge question mark over whether this is the right person
Yeah.
for you.
The great ones hype you up so much as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you want
and that's
that.
what you
Yeah.
want. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also, obviously, like, it's not just about, like, a lot of unpartnered people have the same thing of, like, feeling insecure or anxious.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's just sort of learning to become comfortable in your skin. If you are going to have sex with people, try not to, like, I know it's easy to sort of, like, just have a drink, have a bit of Dutch courage.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think when you're younger, you probably do that more, don't you? Like, oh, just get drunk, and then
Yeah,
it'll be easier.
yeah.
And that's when
You'll
you
get it
lose your
done.
inhibitions. But actually,
Yeah.
like, that could cause problems.
It could.
So
And
yeah,
also, as you said, if you're not comfortable with your boobs, don't let that like hold you back. As
Yeah.
you said, you wore the t-shirt and
Yeah.
you
And was fine, yeah.
Yeah.
So things
So,
like
like,
moves.
try other things. I know some people like don't like having sex with the lights on, and that's
Yeah, so
fine.
common,
Turn
right?
off the
Yeah.
lights.
yeah,
Yeah.
put a little candle on, a little bit of like nice
Yeah.
soft lighting.
And also, they don't stare. Like no one's staring at you.
No.
Like
Exactly.
they just want to get down to the deed.
You know, just want to get in. Like.
And you know, fake it till you make it. Pretend you are confident,
Yeah.
and then often like you,
'cause that's what they're
you
doing.
will,
That's what men are
yeah,
doing.
you will feel confident.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're probably shitting themselves as well.
Yeah.
So
There
Yeah.
was literally another one about like disliking my boobs and how that holds me back from enjoying sex, and that was very much what I went through before I had my breast reduction. I think that's a really big thing that held me back from being able to come. But like, whilst I would never push cosmetic surgery on anyone, mine was more for medical reasons, because they were so big that I was in a lot of discomfort. Actually getting to a point where I'm comfortable and happy with my body as well. Like, I think you should be looking outside of sex as well. Are there other things outside the bedroom that you need to work on, like your confidence generally, your job, your relationship with your family? Like, I think all those things can really impact your sex life.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And we don't have to do everything just for our partner. Like, do some stuff for you.
Yeah.
Like, if it makes someone happy, you know, if they're not happy with their boobs, they don't have to do for medical reasons. They're just not happy. Like, maybe do look into, you know, if that's something that would make you happier, like, do it for you.
Yeah,
Don't do it because your partner, you think your partner mightn't like them, or
Definitely.
do what makes you happy. Like,
Whatever you feel comfortable with. I thought this was interesting. Someone saying that she wants sex, but she always feels lonely after having it. There's some science around that, though, right? Like the chemicals that a woman's body releases after having sex.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Chemicals it is or anything.
I think I've heard the same thing, but I couldn't validate it with like a professional answer. Like, yes, actually.
But I feel it's very normal. Like, I can definitely relate. Like,
so what, does she feel lonely like when her partner leaves and then she feels lonely and
really
sad?
enjoys the act of sex, particularly one night stands, but then the day afterwards she feels very lonely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that she's not with someone then, is it?
But then it's also like, is that tied up in other things? Like, do you have anxiety? Were you drinking? Like, were you anything else? Were there other things involved? It's normal to have that like rush of endorphins and like that rush of serotonin when you're with someone and it's amazing and you have like great sex and then they're gone and your bed's empty and you may be feeling a little bit like anxious about, you know, you're looking back and thinking about it. I think that's normal.
I think like everyone should be allowed to. I mean, if it's something you like, then for sure have as much sex as you would like. It's great, but then like you can't discount how big of a deal it is for someone to be inside you. Like, you've been very close to someone and all of a sudden you're just not. Like, that does play havoc on your mental health.
And that's the thing, is if she's finding that she is getting really anxious and not enjoying that feeling, like, take a step back, think, oh, one night stand's the right thing for me, maybe.
You should be home by
maybe
yourself.
I need to be looking.
Exactly.
Or like
so great.
Make plans the next day, make sure she's getting up and getting out and meeting her friends.
Have a little debrief.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes, especially as you said, if you've been like drinking or whatever, if you're sitting there in your thoughts, you get in your head, and I don't think that's probably helping either, is it?
I
Whereas
agree.
if she's keeping busy, like, her mind is on other things.
For sure. I love when people ask me how often is a normal amount to have sex. So, do you guys have an answer to that?
No.
No, right? Like,
There is no answer.
Yeah. As long as both people are happy, healthy, comfortable, enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And I also...
And on the same page.
Yeah, on the same page. And sex, obviously, I think for most people, sex dwindles over time. So if you've been going out with someone for 10 years, you probably aren't going to be having sex twice a day.
You're going to be going through phases.
Yeah, it's probably more like every few weeks, but that's fine. That's fine.
Sure.
As long as everyone's happy.
Yeah.
We were saying this morning as well that I think it really depends on your personality type. Like, I think there are certain kinds of people that are more naturally touchy-feely and intimate, and then there's other people that just like don't like to be touched or too tactile, but then within the confines of like being sexual, they get really irritated that they're having less sex. When you're like, but your personality type doesn't lend itself to that much sex anyway, so why are you comparing yourself?
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
different love languages, don't they?
For sure, and I think like we were saying earlier, there's different kinds of sex. Like, I don't understand why people, like, I mean, something that I love is to like watch my partner get himself off. I enjoy that so much, and like, I don't necessarily have to be penetrated for us to have a great time.
Exactly.
Other things can turn you on as well. Like, it doesn't have to just be the act.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
or you could like not have sex for like 6 weeks and then spend a weekend shagging because you've gone away on holiday or whatever, or like, you know, like the older you get, usually the more responsibilities you get. People are tired, they're working all the time, they have less time, especially if you start having kids. You know, priorities change. I think as long as you are open and communicating with your partner and you're both happy, and I think it doesn't matter how little or how often you're having it.
Exactly.
The friend that's telling you that they're having sex like twice a day, every day, like, I feel like look at their life in a wider context. Are they happy in their careers? Do they have great like relationships with their families? If they're not, like, because for me personally, I do prioritize like a solid financial background for my family to come home to. And I care about having that as well as sex, as well as getting on with like all these factors. And so like, I'm not necessarily going to care that my best friend has sex a million times a week. Like,
exactly.
She's not as forward as I would like to be in other areas of life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And also it's such a unique thing because it's hormonal. So your hormones are obviously completely rampant from the age of about like 16 to probably early 20s.
Yeah.
Normally people want to have sex all the time. When you're in your 30s, mid 30s, 40s, like you're not going to feel like a horny teenager. If you do, that's great. I'm jealous. But like, you know, you don't feel as horny all the time when you're older. Also, if you're on contraception, like we were talking about earlier, that can affect your sex drive. But it might be okay. Like it's okay not to want to have sex every single day, twice a day.
Yeah.
And also just because people, I don't know if people, because I know we got a few of these questions, if they're asking because they're in a dry patch, doesn't mean that it'll be like that forever.
It's not a health condition. You can have like periods of your life you're having less sex.
Exactly.
And I think it's, as you said, it's about like the wider picture, isn't it? If you're stressed over something, you've had something going on in your life,
you could be ill, you could have a sickness.
You know, you're going to go through those phases.
Yeah.
Is there like an optimal amount? Because I would say that like sex can be good for your mental and physical health. Is there an amount that you're like, it would be good if you could try and get it in this amount, or not necessarily at all? Like,
I think, well, in terms of if we're talking literally physical, it's good to get blood flow into all parts of your body. So actually, there's studies that say, you know, obviously there's the whole myth that the more a woman has sex, the baggier the vagina gets, which is completely untrue. That needs to be like banished. Actually, the more you have sex, it's like exercising muscle. Like the tighter you'll get, like because you know you're using it down there, and the more blood flow you get to the area, the better that actually helps your genital health. And can
I love that.
you know, like lichen sclerosis, like if you have like basically if you just let cobwebs grow over it, which is fine. If you don't want to do anything, that's absolutely fine, but the more you stimulate and allow blood flow to that area, the better it is for your body.
And endorphins.
Endorphins, exactly.
Make you feel good.
So
definitely the whole mental health thing is good. But for some people it might be actually a bad thing. For them having sex, that you know they mightn't be in the right headspace, and it mightn't actually be good for their mental health. So it depends on everyone's lives and where they're at that time, doesn't it? Really, like
absolutely,
it's not actually a
dedicated time.
And I think the more, like you said earlier as well, the more you maybe have sex or self-pleasure yourself or come, the more you're likely to. So it's actually like it's kind of
out what
so it's like
part of your normal routine.
So it's like if you're not really feeling it with either just yourself or your partner, actually if you start introducing it a bit more and like forcing yourself to have it, you might actually find that your sex drive massively increases.
And dedicating time as well. If you're with someone, like me and my partner are together a long time, like I think that is an important, when you're together a long time, sometimes I think you might go through phases where it's not really kind of prioritized, whereas it's actually a good thing to make time for it and like make time for each other, to be intimate together.
Of course.
I do think a lot of people do struggle with that when they're with their partner for a long time,
and they don't realize, like I have so many of my friends that like do actually schedule sex, and that sounds really boring, but it looks really fun to me to like see them like edge up to the evening and like they plan things for each other, and it seems really nice and sensual, and like they really care about each other.
That's great. No judgment. That's fantastic.
I think it's good.
You know, you're just saying about how like some people they're more hormonal in these periods of their life, so potentially they might want more sex. I like fully hear that, but like, so for example, in my specific scenario, I wasn't really like very shamed around having sex for like a long time, and so my boyfriend laughs now that I'm like a horny teenager, and like it's like I've just discovered porn, and I've just discovered like sex positive people and like what I like. So he's like, he's like not annoyed by it, but he's like, it's a bit much. Like I need it to not be on your mind as much as it is. But
I love that. That's
but like
great.
I wasn't allowed to. So like circumstances play a really big part in your sex drive, because I just literally up until I was 25, it was pretty much just deleted. Like it didn't really exist. So now I'm just like, how am I get
catching up and laughing?
Exactly. And it's your partner as well that like you're obviously comfortable with him and he's sort of bringing out that side to you, which is great. Like you might not be like that with another partner. So it's like that. It's about that match and like that compatibility. So just like celebrate that. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well done you.
Thanks guys, I've had a really good time.
Sounds great.
I'm really enjoying myself. Or how do you know if you're orgasming? I think I am, but I'm not sure.
Oh wow! I'd love to know like why this person thinks they are. Is this someone? I'm guessing is this a woman?
Would love it if you'd love to like send in more information.
Yeah, like give us more information. I mean, so a lot of women or a lot of people with vaginas will literally have like contractions.
Yeah.
So there's like a physical.
Yeah, you feel your body like...
you feel... Because as we know, most orgasms happen from clitoral stimulation, and you know what the clitoris looks like. It's not just a little nub.
Yeah.
It's actually like the weird kind of like insect looking. It looks like a praying
Yeah.
mantis.
Weird.
So you've got these like
does look like a
bulbs that
praying
like go
mantis.
around like your vagina and like so it's like actually quite a big organ that gets
Yeah.
very engorged and then can contract. Not everyone has that, but some people can
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you know if I
Overwhelming
can't?
sensation.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I would just say you just
fireworks,
know.
explosions.
Yeah, actually,
like
though,
your brain
so
pops.
overwhelming, isn't it? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually like a build up, and then a lot of people as well. Once they've come, they don't want to be touched anymore. They're very
They're too
oversensitive.
sensitive,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're like, get away from me.
Yeah.
They don't want to carry on having sex, although some people do. Yeah.
I read something that, like, when you get anxiety and it's really overwhelming and it fills your whole body.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that, but it's a good thing. Orgasming can be compared to that, but like the good version of that, because it does kind of literally take over your whole body. Like, I don't think you
Yeah.
would be able to miss it.
Yeah.
It's like a release.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely.
It's really, really hard to explain.
Yeah. There's different levels of
like
it, but
a-
I do think you know.
Just
Yeah.
a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And I think for this person who's asked this question, like we were saying, it can be explosive, it can be
Yeah.
all-consuming, it can literally feel like
Different levels.
something's popping off in your head, or it
Yeah.
can be really low-key,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like, did it happen? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So if she's enjoying it, keep going. And
Yeah.
That brings me really nicely actually to another question, which was why do I always feel so overwhelmed after sex? And I think that for like my initial thoughts was that could be two reasons. Firstly, because like orgasming is like quite overwhelming,
very
and if you have been able
overwhelming,
to come, then like the emotions that come with it and the feeling is just like so big.
yeah.
But also, look, for me, like where I have had shame about it growing up, like sometimes I just get really overly emotional. Like, what am I doing? Am I letting anyone down? Like, does this
Yeah.
make me a bad person? Is this too dirty? Like,
Yeah.
have I wanted anything that was like awful? Does this make me a bad person? Those kind of things, and those feelings can just be like
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
really take over, make you really emotional.
Yeah, I think you hear about people like crying after they've
Oh, I
had
cry all the
sex.
time.
Yeah, and like and like they have an orgasm and they'll start crying, and it's like
Yeah.
I think it's just this release of a lot
Yeah.
of emotion
It's
and
just
a lot of
overwhelming.
hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like on top of my boyfriend the other day, and I was like trying, I was crying. I was like trying to make it sexy.
Sexy cry. These are sexy tears.
Free lube.
I was just like trying to let it like dribble, like without like making too many facial expressions.
Like a Kim Kardashian cry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I look stunning doing it.
Do you want to pick that, or are you okay?
He didn't even. No, actually, afterwards he was like, "Yeah, you good?" Like,
Very good.
yeah, that was great. Thank you. How to? Oh, links between anxiety and sexual enjoyment. That's very close.
I mean,
to what we were
Kind
just saying.
of about what we were talking
Yeah.
about, really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think if you're anxious in any, not even about sex, in like any aspect of your
Any
life, that can sort of drip feed into your sex life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even cause things like what we talked about earlier, like vaginismus and stuff like that as well, can all
Yeah.
Yeah.
play
I
a
think-
part, can't it?
Also, again, like I'm only just 29 and starting to figure this out now. So I think if you're like in your early to mid 20s and you're struggling around those things, like super normal. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
only just starting to
We've
figure
all
out now.
been there.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely all been there.
How do I get my partner to be comfortable around using toys in the bedroom? He seems to be intimidated.
Oh.
I think this is a big fear for a lot of people, isn't it? Like how to introduce.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of the time people think it's like, again, it's attached with shame and stigma, where they're like, oh, that's dirty and a bit
Yeah.
kinky or weird. It's like,
Yeah.
But it's because the woman wants it that it's seen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think like make them feel comfortable, make them feel reassured that it's not a replacement.
It's not, yeah.
It's a little additional side dish.
Yeah.
To make things
Spice it
better.
up.
Yeah. Nothing replaces the human form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that plays toys for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
They
I
can
like-
also like get extra enjoyment.
I really like to use it to show my partner what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
And he loves that as well. And again, like if you're with a partner that like wants you to enjoy sex, and they're probably gonna have a great time seeing you use the toys. Like,
I think
Exactly.
with this person who's asked, like, why have you asked him? You know, you're asking.
Has he ever thought
She's
about
asking
it?
you, but like, has she actually said, "Why do you feel uncomfortable? Do you want to
Exactly.
explore this?"
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, I promise you that this is
Yeah.
not because I'm unhappy. It's just I want to.
And also, I
Enhance
think
it.
a lot of people just think that if they do bring it up, it will make them feel like that. So,
yeah.
have they actually spoken to them about it in like just a normal
Yeah.
way?
And
like
maybe
normalise
like
it?
one, like maybe not get like the whole massive like trunk of toys out. just start with like a tiny toy that maybe you could pick together. You could go to a sex shop,
Yeah.
a nice like welcoming, wholesome sex shop in I don't know Soho.
So wholesome.
And and like pick out a toy that you
Together.
together. Use that, and it could be tiny. It could be like the tiniest thing with the smallest battery. And then if you enjoy that, that's when you could like add on other things. Don't bring out like all the paraphernalia.
I don't understand putting out a drawer of like or drawer of all the
Here's my
toys you've used with your
dungeon.
exes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I built us a sex dungeon.
Yeah.
Let me just dust that off. Like,
that I've used that with all my previous partners. They're gonna be like,
oh, this is nostalgia.
Also, it doesn't have to be a big toy. They can just start with like, even in the bathrooms they have the small little vibrators sometimes, and
the
tiny
tiny
you can buy.
Yeah, love those.
Maybe just introduce it like that, like something fun.
Yeah.
Like, as a
Get him a cock ring. I'm sure he'll enjoy that.
I've used one of those. I'd really like to.
Yeah, give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not too bad.
Really. Thanks, you sexy nurses.
Actually, we have some SH24 ones. No, we don't.
I wish you would. That'd be so good. Oh no, this is a big one. I would rather, this is a statement, not a question, but I would rather go to a sexual health clinic post-sex with a partner than ask them if they've been checked.
That was
Yeah, I mean,
So
so
that
what? So this
people's
person would
thinking like
rather
Get something,
have
go and
an
get tested,
unprotected
then actually
sex.
speak to a
wow.
partner about whether or not.
Yeah. I think this is a big thing actually.
huge.
It's totally fine to ask someone either before you've had sex or after you've had sex, maybe not during sex. When was the last time you tested? Doesn't mean that you've got an infection, it doesn't mean you're accusing them of being dirty.
No.
Just when was the last time you tested, by the way?
Yeah.
And if they're like, oh shit, I haven't actually done a test in ages, be like, oh, it'd be good if you did.
Yeah. It's just like trying to normalize it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a big thing as well for people who are taking PrEP, or having like a lot of unprotected sex. Like we're trying to like change people's kind of mind frames to ask about it. Or are you on PrEP?
Yeah.
Because it's never been. I know certainly like when I was a teenager and stuff, I would never been like, have you been tested?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, why not? It's because that's not what we were taught, and it's not what we were used to. Whereas we want to normalize this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
just looking
actually
after your
for
health.
Yeah, it's for both
It's literally looking
benefits.
after your sexual
Yeah.
health. It's like, it doesn't mean you're not accusing someone of having anything.
No.
I think for us, we're sexual health nurses, so obviously if you do talk, we're really used to talking about sex, we're really used to talking about testing, it's literally like our day job.
Yeah.
And then if you met someone and you were embarking on a sexual relationship with them, it's so easy for us just to be like, have you done
Precisely.
a test?
So for that reason, could you maybe give us the language to use to speak to ask a partner? Because
Yeah.
me growing up, I would have been the same as this. I would have much rather just got tested afterwards than ask a partner because I didn't know how
Yeah.
to say it in a way that wasn't aggressive or.
So I
Yeah.
think now, like obviously you have the online testing, so you can literally get a test sent to your home, like
Yeah.
like SH24.
Yeah.
And there's other companies as well. So you could literally just be like, oh, I ordered a STI kit, by the way. I've got it at home. I'm going to do it in a few days because I haven't actually done a test for a while. When was the last time you did a test?
Yeah.
And if they get funny about it, try and explore why. It's just, you can have STIs that don't have any symptoms, and if you have untreated STIs, it can actually cause like complex infections or like chronic health conditions. So it's like in your best interest to both test. Like, why would you not want to just make sure you don't have an infection?
Yeah. Well, I always think like I really, really empathise with the feeling of like feeling too embarrassed to ask a partner. But then something I try and consider is like how would I want to speak to my daughter? Like if my daughter told me that, I would be gutted. So why am I treating myself any differently?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a good way to broach it is if you're starting to have sex with someone and you're using condoms and you're maybe thinking of going on to contraception. So you don't have to use condoms if it's important to protect against pregnancy. You could be like, so I'm going to go on the pill, I'm going to get the coil, which means that we don't have to be as careful with condoms. Like just before we do that, we should probably get tested.
Yeah.
Because if we are going to have unprotected sex, we should ensure that we haven't got an STI. Yeah, it's just like,
it's not a bad thing.
no, I think honestly, if someone is weird about it, like you should probably question this person. Like, why would they be weird? But I get it. Like and if you feel awkward, I understand. But just be kind of like casual about it.
Yeah, use open language. I mean, if you're planning to have sex with someone or plan to meet up with them, like sex is already in the conversation, so you can just drop it in.
Yeah, and it could be like a fun thing. Like you can be like, if you do this one thing for me, I'll do anything you want. Like,
Yeah, yeah, just test, please.
Yeah,
exactly. And then, or you could just be like, oh, have you ever been to a sexual health clinic? And if they're like, oh no, why? Be like, oh, I'm just wondering because I've just actually ordered a test kit or something, and I'm going to do a test just to make sure I haven't got any STIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as a nurse in clinic, I would meet men in their mid-30s who had never done a sexual health test and they had been sexually active since they were 17.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, but I'm clean. It's like, how do you know? You don't know.
You don't have
and it's just like,
at the time.
and they just think testing equals that you've got some nasty disease or some nasty infection. It's like, no, it's literally like, it's the easiest way to look after your health.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's free as well.
There's nothing nasty or dirty about
Yeah.
it. Just get checked.
It's like, what? Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, why is it weird that I want to, like, be the healthiest version of myself?
Yeah.
And
you know,
protect you.
Yeah, and protect other people.
It's
Exactly,
not
you're doing it
just-
for other people.
Yeah.
Like the last thing I'd ever want to do is like get chlamydia and then like pass it on unbeknownly to someone else.
I know.
And then you have to tell them that you have it.
That's
as well,
actually a
you
very
know?
good point, isn't it? What's more awkward, like asking someone, oh, you know, have you tested recently, or having to contact someone and say,
By the way.
by the way,
Yeah.
I've given you gonorrhea,
I've got the
chlamydia,
gland.
Yeah.
syphilis. Or, you know, which shouldn't be an awkward conversation either. That should be normalised as well, but
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to just talk about testing.
My partner struggles to get hard and or be aroused, but I have a pretty high sex drive.
I think that could be. I mean,
He's been to therapy as well.
He's
I
been
might
to
add.
therapy.
Yeah, he has been to therapy.
a lot of erectile dysfunction issues, like obviously you have that Viagra, like, or the non-brand version. It's not just about like popping a pill to make yourself hard. Obviously, this guy sounds quite young. It's about probably go to his GP if he's young and he's having erectile dysfunction or like not getting hard. Probably worth going to the GP, making sure other things that they should probably want to do blood tests, making sure other things are okay. What's his diet like? What's his lifestyle like?
Yeah.
Actually doing things like upping your exercise, making sure you eat healthily. That could change things for the better.
Sure. But I also think like don't feel guilty for wanting to look after yourself. Like I mean, he's struggling and he's potentially he is finding it hard to get hard. But firstly, he should be consistently going to therapy. He should be consistently trying to solve the problem for you, especially if sex is important for you. And there's things that he can be doing to get you off without being inside of you and penetrating you.
Hands
So
and
what else
mouths.
is he doing?
Communication.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think I think probably the more it happens, like the more pent up about it he gets. But yeah, I think he needs to be proactive.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
sorting out that problem. It's
And
like
this
it's
is also a psychosexual thing.
yeah,
Definitely.
Go to for psychosexual counselling. Also, big thing, and a lot of young people don't know this, is smoking weed and cannabis can actually cause erectile dysfunction.
exactly. Yeah, so that's the thing. Is he?
So
What's he doing?
Is he smoking?
What narcotics is he doing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, a lot of young people don't know that.
Yeah, but for sure, don't let it impact your ability to get yours.
Yeah, exactly. He could be smoking a joint every day, which would massively affect his boner.
I feel like there's like a million questions, but like maybe we just tie it up with this last one, which is why is my sex drive so much higher than my boyfriend's? And there was a lot of that, like repetitive, like women wondering or feeling guilty because theirs is so much higher than their partner's.
I mean,
Because we're queens and we're amazing.
Actually, yeah, that's it. End of mic drop. Yeah, no.
I mean, we're amazing. I think, well, everyone has a differing sex drive. Doesn't matter if like man, woman, what genitals you have. Some people have the raging horn all the time. Other people's don't.
Yeah.
And I think it can really stand out if you're mismatched with your partner. Like, I don't know. I mean, what's the answer? Why? Like,
There isn't an answer.
Yeah, just
why?
Yeah, just
why
match- yeah.
they do have a higher sex drive, but like
it's okay. It's
It's okay.
as long as you're both happy.
yeah.
You're getting yours. It's fine though. It's not a problem. It's
And also, like, if her partner isn't, has a lower sex drive than her, use her toys and stuff like that as well. Like to, just because they don't want to have sex all the time doesn't mean that she can enjoy herself either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like sexual health nurses saying that that's okay, but also like within my own friendship group, I have more girlfriends with a higher sex drive than male friends with a high sex drive, and I just think that like that's so important to know. Like a nurse saying one thing is like fine, but like actually with from my own experience, all of my friends have a much higher sex drive. All my female friends have a much higher sex drive.
And we get a lot of questions of it the opposite way around as well. That people were like, oh, my boyfriend has a higher sex drive than me, so that in itself is telling you actually that everyone is different.
Yeah. I think like if you want to get into the nitty gritty, if you all your girlfriends have a higher sex drive, it's like what's going on with their partner mentally, do they have a higher sex drive because they're not coming, so they're just horny all the time because they haven't actually like achieved
It's a really good
orgasm?
point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you could be with a partner who just doesn't know how to please you, so you're constantly just
Yeah.
like left wanting more. And actually, if you had a really good orgasm, maybe the sex, maybe you wouldn't feel as
Satiated.
horny.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's like as long as like they're both happy. I think
Yeah.
as long as you're both happy, it doesn't matter.
As long as you're communicating, that's
Yeah.
really
Communicate
normal,
with
is
each
there?
other,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I guess that's the theme for all of this, right? If you can communicate with your partner, you can tell them what you want. There's nothing here that I've seen that's been like scary or silly, or like it's all just been so normal.
Yeah.
And a lot of the same questions being repeated because there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Communication, not putting yourself under pressure, being
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing
answers
that
a lot of
like
questions.
the older you get, I do believe like the more comfortable you get in your skin, the more you get to like
Million
know what you
percent.
want. You get a blueprint of like what you want, what you don't want, what's acceptable. Like I know, and again it's the whole like, oh, you know, the body count thing. I've only had one partner, therefore like that's better than having like 20 partners. Actually, the more partners you have, the more sex you have, the more experience you get, the more that you know what you want. I just think have as much sex as possible in a safe and healthy way, in a consensual way. So you learn what you like you learn what you don't like.
Yeah.
Sure. And test. Remember, guys, test.
Test regularly.
So get tested.
Use condoms, right? Contraception.
Thank you so much, you guys. That was so great. Thank you.
Cheers.
I think that went really, really well. I'm really appreciative of all the questions you guys sent in. I will say that a lot of the questions that we went through were super heteronormative, so I would love in future for us to receive a wider variety of questions, and I hope that no one was offended by that, because that's for sure a topic that I would like to cover more in future, but I'm really, really happy with how that went. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed, and I'll see you guys for next week's video.